Well, good afternoon. So let me continue with where we have left yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about the security concerns regarding the infrastructure and the technology which are using under cloud computing. On the hardware and technology, what type of security things we are supposed to adopt, we are discussing. So we discussed about that if you are maintaining that it at a centralized space, so you can concentrate more on providing the security at one place rather than scattering the information at various places and then providing the security. Okay. Then we can have offloading the work because we don't need to hire 24 by 7 IT security staff for ourselves because the third party, the cloud provider, is actually going to tackle about the security of your data. Then logging of information is also possible, and also if any security breach occurs, the forensic team, which is readily available with the cloud provider, can work on that. They can easily clone the machine and they can do the offline analysis where actually the security breach has been happened. And another thing here is several vendors have the opportunity to develop various kind of security softwares so that they can provide enough security to the cloud computing applications. Then we talked about the auditing. So it is a very major headache, or we can say that it is a major issue which comes across because the auditor actually sees whether all the standards are meeting to all the things which are been adopted by any organization are meeting up to the standards or not. So the same means the same security issues an organization deals with sort of issues that software as service SAS providers face. Same set of security issues. Means here there are some regulatory bodies like Sarbanes-Oxley, Grammy, Leach, Billy. Okay, and we can have this PCI, DSS, the payment card security industry, the data security standards. These are all the regulatory bodies which are actually having some regulations which are be provided, like ISO. So previously, if you might remember that we in the college actually we prepared the records as per the ISO standards there, because the all the records are supposed to be maintained as per the standards. Okay, so likewise, if you are adopting the cloud computing also, so we have some certain standards which are supposed to be maintained. For example, prior to SAS, as I discussed yesterday, the submission could be managed by the fewer tasks. Means you should identify who are the users and what type of access privileges you are giving to those users. Then you should identify the sensitive data. Then after identifying the sensitive data, you should know where the data is actually located and how it is encrypted. Means what type of encryption mechanisms you are using so as to encrypt your data. Then you have to document for this for the auditors and the regulators. So SAS has make these steps even more complicated. Means if you are going for this software as service, so it makes more complicated. So because when you store sensitive data, the compliance sensitive data with your SAS provider, it is difficult to know where the data is actually being stored because when you are going for a cloud provider, you cannot guarantee what actually where the data is actually stored there because the data may be stored at the cloud provider server or it may be stored in the partner server also. Okay, so therefore, generally, SAS brings with a number of regulations, including the PCI DSS standard, PCI DSS. So we have this payment card industry data security standard, which is a regulatory body which actually provides the regulations for service providers. So under its requirement 12.A of PCI mandates the service providers to be compliant and contractually acknowledge their responsibility for protecting the credit card data there. Here, one example, a case study is given where the credit card data is stored by someone. If someone is storing the credit card data, this PCI DSS, it has to meet the PCI DSS standard there. They should acknowledge the responsibility for protecting the data. So under the Appendix A, so we stopped there. So today we will continue that in Appendix A, some rules and regulations have been mentioned by PCI DSS. So what type of rules and regulations it has been adopted, we will discuss now. Under the Appendix A of PCI DSS, the requirement A1 of Appendix A has four sub provisions. It has four sub provisions here which it needs to satisfy. So compulsorily, when the data is actually stored on the cloud, data is stored on the cloud. So what is the requirement A here? So if I talk about the requirement A under PCI DSS standard, the first is each client provider only has access to its own data. Means the cloud provider, means the client of the provider, each client of the provider only it can access only its own data. Means you cannot access somebody's data. So each person is supposed to access their own data. Okay, so the important question is how the SAS provider systems architecture prevents from unauthorized exposure of data to the other subscribers using the same service. So when same type of service is provided, so how the cloud provider is actually preventing the unauthorized exposure of the data to the other subscriber. అంటే మన డేటా మనం మాత్రమే యాక్సెస్ చేయాలి, మన డేటా ఇంకోళ్ళు యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి వీల్లేదు, అలాగే ఇంకోళ్ళు మన డేటాని యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి వీల్లేదు. సో దీనికోసం ఒక క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ అన్నవాడు ఈ అనదరైజ్డ్ ఎక్స్పోజర్ ఆఫ్ డేటాని ఎట్లా ప్రివెంట్ చేస్తున్నాడు అన్నది మనం చూపించాలి అంటున్నాడు. ఓకే, so many clients are there, the data should be sitting on the server with another client's data. Okay, so మన డేటా మనతో పాటు ఇంకో మీన్స్ సేమ్ మెషిన్ మనం యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం కాబట్టి మన డేటాతో పాటు మన కాంపిటీటర్ డేటా కూడా అక్కడే ఉంటుంది. సో దట్ we should avoid, I should protect our data from unauthorized access. That is the first condition you need to satisfy. The second subdivision under the Appendix A is the credential management. Means here, what we can say that it requires access controls to be held by the service provider, and the controls only allow the client to be able to access the data and protect the data from the others there. So we should have some access controls to be held by the service provider. Some what type of access controls? As I earlier discussed with you, that access controls in the sense what type of privileges you are going to provide on certain portion of the data. Okay, so here the controls only allows the client to be able to access the data and to protect the data from the others. Either the provider can maintain those controls, or maintenance can be done by connecting to the client's access management system. The client can manage, have the access management system for him. Either the data can be controlled by the provider or through the access management system of the provider. So if the SAS provider handles access controls, the authentication credentials are stored in the provider servers. So while the providers generally claim that this method is safe and secure, use extra caution. If there is a breach at the provider, then not only cloud your data be compromised, but also your authentication credential. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మన authentication information అంతా కూడా ఇక్కడ ఈ పాయింట్కి ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఏంటంటే, మన డేటా మీన్స్ నీ ఎవరు యాక్సెస్ చేయగలరు. అఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇప్పుడు మన ఆఫీస్లోనే ఒక పోర్షన్ ఆఫ్ డేటా ఉంటే, ఇది ఐ గేవ్ యూ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆఫ్ బ్యాంకింగ్ సిస్టమ్ వేర్ క్లర్క్ టెల్లర్ has some limited access for withdrawal of an amount, withdrawal of an amount from a customer's account, whereas the manager has some higher access there. So these access control information, so what accordingly here can be placed on the cloud, or it can be placed on some access management system at the client side. Now what happens here is, if you are placing this access management information at the cloud itself, అంటే ఈ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీసుకెళ్ళి క్లౌడ్ మీద పెట్టి ఇన్ కేస్ ఏమైనా సెక్యూరిటీ బ్రీచ్ అయ్యిందే అనుకోండి, మన క్లౌడ్లో ఉన్న డేటా కాదు, మన పాస్వర్డ్స్, మన క్రెడెన్షియల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్స్ అన్నీ కూడా ఏంటండి వాడి మీన్స్ ఎవరైతే హ్యాక్ చేశాడో వాడి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి. సో ఫర్దర్ if the provider handles the authentication, you must keep careful control of user accounts. If the user leaves your organization, then this credentials should be revoked, and that is easier to do in-house by your own IT staff, or rather than relying on service provider. Now another issue here is, if some person leaves the organization, ఎవరైనా ఆర్గనైజేషన్ మానేసి నుంచి బయటికి వెళ్ళిపోయారే అనుకోండి. బయటికి వెళ్ళిపోయినప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది అంటే అండి, వాడికి ఏ క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ అయితే మీరు ఇచ్చారో ఆ క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ అన్నిటినీ కూడా మీరు ఏం చేయాలి, వెంటనే మళ్ళీ వెనక్కి తీసేసుకోవాలండి. వెనక్కి తీసుకోలేదనుకోండి, వాడు మళ్ళీ అనాథరైజ్డ్గా యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి స్కోప్ ఉంది. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ యొక్క క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ మీ దగ్గరే మెయింటైన్ చేస్తే మీ ఐటీ స్టాఫ్ దాన్ని డిలీట్ చేసేయడానికి స్కోప్ ఉంటుంది. అదే ఈ యొక్క క్రెడెన్షియల్స్ కనుక క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ దగ్గర మెయింటైన్ చేస్తుంటే మీరు వెంటనే ఆ యొక్క కేర్ తీసుకోవాలి, లేదంటే మీ డేటా మిస్యూజ్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి అంటారు. Next is the logging. The third subdivision under the Appendix A is logging and audit trails are covered here. This is also maintained by the requirement 10 of PCI. Logs and audit trails are used for investigation. It means all the logging information, the record. So who has accessed the data, when he has accessed the data, what changes he has made, all this logging information is stored. And this time to time some investigation is done, audit trails are done and are used for investigating the incidents. The fourth and the final point here is the service provider must provide for timely forensic investigation if there is a breach there. So the service provider should actually provide the forensic investigation time to time. So like for example, చూడండి మన దగ్గర వాట్ ఐ సే దిస్ యాంటీవైరస్ ఉందనుకోండి, మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, టైం టు టైం మనం యాంటీవైరస్తో మన ఫోన్ని కానీ లేకపోతే మన దగ్గర ఉన్న పీసీని కానీ we generally scan it. What is the purpose of scanning our system time to time? To investigate if any virus has attacked, if any trojans or any malware have been attacked our system. So regularly we check. Likewise here also, this service provider must conduct the forensic investigation time to time. Okay, so that to see is there any security breaches or not. Web applications, because the service providers use so many web connections, they should be asked about the security of their web applications. So because the provider is using so many web connections here, it should be asked about what type of security is there for their web applications. This should include whether they follow the Open Web Application Security Project guidelines for securing the application development. So this OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project, so they are also providing you some guidelines. So we should check whether the provider is following such regulations or not. So we should check about those regulations. And also when dealing with the provider, you should seek out those who are able to talk about how they handle the breaches among their staff as well as where the data is stored. So you should know when dealing with a provider, you should know who is answerable, who is going to answer the questions, who is willing to talk about uh, how the data is, how they handle the breaches among the staff as well as the data is stored. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఆల్ థింగ్స్ అంటే ఎవరు ఆన్సరబుల్ అన్న విషయం కూడా మనకు తెలిసి ఎప్పటికప్పుడు వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడడానికి స్కోప్ ఉండాలి. Then if I talk about the virtual private networks, with the applications being moved to the cloud, it makes it possible for each and every worker to be telecommuter in the sense the one who is moving, and the person who is actually can access these web applications via online. Thus, the organization does not have to lease much space, pay much for utilities, and those means much means when you are actually using the cloud there, see, you need not pay much because you don't have any office to maintain any special office infrastructure. These all headaches have been nowadays we are witnessing it. See, most of the organization, most of the people who are working now, they are actually working online. In such cases, there doesn't require any infrastructure here to be maintained. Also, because all will be sitting at their homes, or all the telecommuters are moving from one place to another place, so that they can access the information. So, when your organization might not lend itself to simply by work with you do means your organization might not lend itself to telecommuting simply by work you do, or maybe like those holiday parties or warm bodies in jail. But the more applications get offloaded to the cloud, the fewer the things worry about. Means here, of course, the meaning of what is about this parties or everything. So no need of actually any party. So ఇప్పుడు అందరూ కనుక ఒక ఆఫీస్లో ఉంటే ఖచ్చితంగా ఏదో పార్టీస్ అని ఇదని ఈ ఖర్చులన్నీ కూడా తగ్గుతాయి అంటాడు వాడు. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ రోజుల్లో జరుగుతుంది అదే అండి. మీరే మనం ఎవరు ఆఫీసెస్కి వెళ్ళట్లేదు. సో మనకి ఏంటంటే ఫిజికల్ కనెక్టివిటీ లేదు. ఏదైనా సరే మనం వర్చువల్గా చేసుకుంటున్నాం. సో దట్ మనకి ఏంటంటే ఖర్చు అనేది బాగా ఇక్కడ తగ్గుతుంది అంటున్నాడు. అండ్ ఆల్సో because more applications are offloaded to the cloud, the more you have uploaded your application, the less you worry about the in-house. Yeah. Okay, next. Also, there is certainly more to your data center than web applications. You have a file storage, email, productivity applications, and anything else that doesn't lend itself to being web-based. So no need of these files to be maintained at home there at your place. All are provided by your cloud. But when your employees access the cloud across the public internet or from your office, you need to be remote access solution like SSL VPN. So if you are accessing the cloud via if you are accessing the cloud via internet here, then you should have a secured socket layer connection, SSL VPN there. What is this SSL VPN? So you will more learn about this SSL VPN in your cryptography, information systems and cryptography subject there. There you will have a detailed algorithms about this SSL VPNs also. But to be in short, if I discuss, so it is an secured socket layer virtual private network that can be used with a standard web browser. So a standard web browser can be uses this SSL VPN connection. So it is from compared to your traditional internet protocol security VPN, an SSL VPN does not require to install specialized client software on the end user's computers. So you need not install any special software here directly. You can start using. So SSL is a protocol for managing the security of message transmission on the internet. So it is included as a part of popular browsers and most of the server products. It employs public and private key encryption system from RSA, reverse hammer element algorithm. So you will have a detailed explanation about these algorithms in your that subject. But here, this is a protocol for managing the security of message transmission over the internet. So it comes with all popular browsers. So if you install any browser like your Chrome or a Firefox or any other Netscape, so this SSL comes along with that. So it employs the public and private key encryption system from the RSA algorithm. So an SSL VPN cloud computing connection between your data center and the cloud provider secures your data with a lot of public key infrastructure overheaded that some of the IP internet protocol security based VPN solutions there. Okay, whatever the internet protocol security based VPN solution is providing, same type of security will be provided by your public key infrastructure. Means using the SSL VPN cloud computing connection provides you this security without a lot of, means without the use of public key infrastructure, which is actually used by IP security based VPN solution. So అందులో ఉన్న ఓవర్ హెడ్ ని ఏంటంటే మనకి అవాయిడ్ చేస్తుంది అంటాడు. అండ్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద SSL VPN gateways provide an on-demand client so that there's a vertical management here. So what are the best security practices? So in case of an SSL VPN, also make sure that the end users are compliant with the organization. They are compliant with the organization security policies through the use of endpoint security. So those measures include requiring antivirus software to be running, means compulsory an antivirus software will be running at the client side, and verifying that the OS patches have been installed. See, OS patches in the sense these patches includes any loopholes through which a malware can actually enter into your system. So such patches will be verified, and those patches will be covered, and checking to see if any malware boards are running. So it will regularly check whether any malware or security boards are been running time to time. Next, the SSL VPN is great security solution because it secures your applications in a simple, inexpensive, and efficient way. Okay. Next is about the key management. With your data stored offsite, there is certainly opportunity for your data to be compromised. So when you're storing the data somewhere in the third party, here what happens here is it may be compromised. It is not safe. So the cloud vendor means generally the cloud vendor says that they are actually keeping your data safe. Can never really be 100% sure that it is not at a risk there. Even though it is at a third party, you cannot guarantee that your data is secure. Added to that possibility that there are maybe just an incident that causes your data to be seen by the others. So incidentally, okay, so sometimes it may not be intentional. Sometimes what happens is your data may be accidentally causes been seen by others. Further, when you are done with the data and try to purge it, means sometimes what happens is if your data is actually used, and now if you don't want to use the data, then what happens is those locations, when you delete the data, those locations may not be erased. So as I told you, I hope I have told you earlier that when you delete the data, it means it doesn't actually delete it from your system, but actually the link, the address will be just removed. See, you might be using some software on your PC or on your phone, so that to recover the old photographs or whatever the data if you are missing them. So how you are getting back that data? So when you delete the data, how you are getting back such data there? The simple answer here is actually the data is not erased or not deleted. Only the address where the data is stored has been deleted. So when you are recovering the data, again it may be restored. Again it may be come. So in such cases, what happens is when you are just removing your data, it is no guarantee that it will be eradicated. That's because many cloud services simply do not erase the free storage, uh, or some do not even initialize the storage when they assign it to you. So they are not just assigning it also. Okay, అంటే అసైన్మెంట్ జీరోస్ కూడా చేయట్లేదు, దే ఆర్ నాట్ ఫ్రీయింగ్ ద స్టోరేజ్. అండ్ ఈ కేసులో ఏమవుతుందండి, సమ్ క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ మే నాట్ డిస్ట్రాయ్ ద డేటా ఆన్ ద ఫెయిల్డ్ మెషిన్స్. If suppose some failed machines are there, the data is not actually been mm, destroyed. Additionally, it is not just the cloud provider who might be in the might be at fault in your data gets out. There are also concerns stemming from man in the middle attacks. The point here is not to scare means. Additionally, it is not just the cloud provider who might be the fault if your data gets out. There are also concerns of stemming from man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attacks in the means somebody might steal the data in the middle itself. అంటే ఎవరైనా మధ్యవర్తిగా ఉన్న వాళ్ళు కూడా ఏంటండి మీ డేటాని వేరే వాళ్ళతో కాంప్రమైజ్ చేసేసి స్కోప్ కూడా ఉంటుందండి. సో ఇన్ సచ్ కేసెస్ what is the solution there? Then, and in this case, it is imperative that you cryptographically authenticate the remote services and servers there. So it is means you just cryptographically authenticate. Cryptographically authenticate means, as I told you in the cryptography subject, you will come across with that, means you are going to encrypt or decrypt the data. So this is accomplished the client server certificates that will let you know who no you are connecting, no you are connecting securely to the cloud. Means sometimes today the digital signatures, the digital security certificates have been issued. Okay, so these actually provide you, actually they will let you know who is connecting your to your cloud assets remotely. So remote services must be cryptographically protected. You use an authorization infrastructure like Kerberos to ensure that you are properly on. So Kerberos actually is a protocol for authenticating services requests between the trusted host across the untrusted networks such as internet. So when you are accessing the data via internet, as you know that internet is one of the most insecure place to access. So you cannot guarantee that the data can be stolen. In such case, this such a authorization infrastructure like Kerberos will be there, who actually use their Kerberos is a protocol for authenticating the services between two trusted hosts. If two trusted hosts are there to authenticate between a connection between two hosts here, this Kerberos is used. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇంటర్నెట్ యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు మన దగ్గర ఉన్న మనకున్న ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే ఇంటర్నెట్ మోస్ట్లీ అన్సెక్యూర్డ్. అలాంటి కేసెస్లో ఏంటంటే మనం క్రిప్టోగ్రాఫికల్గా ప్రొటెక్టెడ్ అవ్వాలి అన్నప్పుడు, క్రిప్టోగ్రఫీలో మీకు ఏం చెప్తారంటే డేటా జనరల్గా ఎన్క్రిప్ట్ అవ్వడం, డిక్రిప్ట్ అవ్వడం గురించి చెప్తారండి. అంటే డేటా ఎన్క్రిప్ట్ చేయడం అంటే ఏంటంటే ఒరిజినల్ ఫామ్ని సమ్ ఫామ్ చీపర్ టెక్స్ట్ అంటారు. చీపర్ టెక్స్ట్లో కన్వర్ట్ చేసేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందండి, డేటా మధ్యలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళు ఎవరు కూడా దాన్ని యాక్సెస్ చేసుకున్నా, దాన్ని దొంగలించిన వాళ్ళు దాన్ని చూడలేరు అనమాట. సో ఎవరి దగ్గర అయితే కీ ఉంటుందో ఆ కీ ఉన్నవాడు ఏం చేస్తాడు, ఆ డేటాని మళ్ళీ డీక్రిప్ట్ చేసి చూసే స్కోప్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ కెరిబ్రోస్ కూడా ఏంటంటే వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రోటోకాల్ ఫర్ అథెంటికేటింగ్ సర్వీసెస్ రిక్వెస్ట్ బిట్వీన్, అంటే టూ ట్రస్టెడ్ పార్టీస్ ఉన్నాయి. సో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ అథెంటికేట్ ద సర్వీస్ బిట్వీన్ ద టూ ట్రస్టెడ్ parties, they can go for this Kerberos where you can authenticate yourself. You can provide the authentication. So with the cloud storage, be stored to protect it cryptographically as well. So not only just having the secured corrections. So sometimes what happens here is uh, mm, you have be sure to protect the storage also cryptographically as well. This includes encrypting the data you store, ensuring the data is set up to destroyed when the storage key is destroyed. సో డేటా జనరల్గా ఏంటంటే మనకి క్రిప్టోగ్రాఫికల్ ఫామ్లో, అది కూడా ఎన్క్రిప్టెడ్ ఫామ్లో డేటాని మనం స్టోర్ చేయాలి. సో ఎప్పుడైతే ఆ డేటా డిస్ట్రాయ్ అయిపోతుందో మన స్టోరేజ్ కీ కూడా ఏంటంటే డిస్ట్రాయ్, అంటే మనకి డిఫరెంట్ కీస్ ఉంటాయి, ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ కీస్, అథెంటికేషన్ కీస్, ఆథరైజేషన్ టోకెన్స్, ఫైల్ ఎన్క్రిప్షన్స్, ఇవన్నీ కీస్ ఉంటాయి. ఈ కీస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ సర్వర్ అనేది కూడా సపరేట్గా ఉంటుంది. ఎప్పుడైతే మీరు డేటాని డిస్ట్రాయ్ చేస్తారో ఆటోమేటిక్గా కీస్ కూడా ఏంటంటే ఇక్కడ డిస్ట్రాయ్ అయిపోవాలి అంటున్నాడు. ఓకే, సో that is about the security here. Next, if I talk about the network. So network generally, because you are accessing via internet, so in order for the cloud to deliver the best resources, there are differing levels of connectivity needed. So different kinds of connectivity requirements are there. So research firm Gartner identified four levels of four levels of network connectivity. సో గార్ట్నర్ నోట్స్ దట్, అంటే ఒక రీసెర్చ్లో ఏంటంటే గార్ట్నర్ రీసెర్చ్ ఫామ్ గార్ట్నర్ అన్న వాళ్ళు ఐడెంటిఫై చేసినప్పుడు ఏంటంటే 4 లెవెల్స్ ఆఫ్ మనకి ఏంటంటే 4 లెవెల్స్ ఆఫ్ కనెక్టివిటీ నీడ్స్ అనేవి మనకి కావాలి అంటున్నాడు. సో దీస్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ డిఫర్ ఫ్రమ్ ద క్లౌడ్, things differ from the cloud such that they have to connect in different ways. In different ways you are going to connect. What works for one organization may not be necessarily, అంటే different 4 types of connections మనకి కావాలి అనుకుంటున్నాం, కానీ ఏ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కనెక్ట్ అంటే ఇఫ్ వన్ ఈజ్ okay with one organization, the same cannot be okay with another organization. Generally, you follow one of the things here is the basic public internet. The first option is pipe most of us use as having coming to our offices or home, the public internet, the one which you are using. Now, we are generally using the public internet. So this type of access that you buy from internet service provider and connect via broadband or dial-up. So using some dial-up connection or a broadband connection, you are going to connect. You are going to connect. Connect to the internet via either the dial-up network or broadband or based upon the location there. Okay, now here the model has different advantages for you also. Such model has advantages like there are larger audience, anyone with the internet access can use this solution. It is highly fault tolerant machines. Fault tolerant means anything fault tolerant in the sense if any fault occurs, it will try to recover from the fault as soon as it can. And Monodeep, we have many options. As you know that we have a number of options because you can connect to use these public networks either means from different providers actually. And then you have the secure socket layer based HTTP protocols, the secure socket layer based hypertext transfer protocol over secure socket layer encrypted access provides confidentiality. So it provides the HTTP. Yes, still provides a high confidentiality of transmitting the data, and it is very cost effective. So it is lesser cost compared to the other type of networking method levels of networking. And also it has the advantages: lack of end-to-end quality service, thus making end-to-end service level agreements difficult to reach. Okay, what does it mean here? What does it mean here?
Like,
That when lack of quality of service is lacked, thus making end-to-end service level agreements difficult. Service level agreement, as I told you, SLS, we will talk about more about SLS later on also. SLA means there is an agreement between you and your service provider when you're accessing cloud. So your service provider will tell you that such and your connection won't be dropped at any time. It will be provided 99.9% షూరిటీ. అంటే వాడు అగ్రిమెంట్లో ఏం చెప్తాడంటే, నేను ఈ విధంగా ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను, క్వాలిటీ ఇలా ఉంటుంది అలా ఉంటుంది అంటాడు. కానీ పబ్లిక్ నెట్వర్క్స్లో అందరూ యూజ్ చేసినప్పుడు అంత క్వాలిటీ మనకు అనేది ఉండకపోవచ్చు అంటున్నాడు. So probability of poor response over high latency connections. This is worsened by the protocol inefficiencies in HTTP and web services. So పూర్ రెస్పాన్స్ టైం, హై లాటెన్సీ ఉన్నప్పుడు అంటే ఎక్కువ యూసేజ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనకి పూర్ రెస్పాన్స్ అనేది వస్తుంది. ఇది ఇంకా టీసీపీ హెచ్టిటిపి యూస్ చేయడం వల్ల ఇంకా వర్స్ట్ అయిపోతుంది. డౌన్ టైమ్ మైట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ కంట్రోల్. సో సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఇఫ్ ద కేబుల్ హ్యాస్ బిన్ కట్, ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ ప్రాబ్లమ్ విత్ ఐఎస్పీస్ అండ్ సో ఫోర్త్, ఇట్ ఈస్ డిఫికల్ట్. డౌన్ టైం ఎంత టైంలో అది మళ్ళీ రెక్టిఫై అవుతుంది అన్నది కూడా మనకి చెప్పలేము. కాకపోతే when you're using this method, organization should consider subscribing with multiple ISPs there. So here one what I say, a suggestion is given that you need to have multiple ISPs with multiple bandwidths here, because if one of the ISPs come down, the other ISP can be used. That is one thing. And ideally the client would get a bandwidth from one of the same ISPs as the vendors. This aids in speed, reliability, and better chance of success with the SLA. So when you are having ఈవెన్ ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ చూస్తే ఏంటంటే మన సైడ్ నుంచి ఆలోచించకూడదు, క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ కూడా. ఇప్పుడు క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ మనకి సర్వీస్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలన్నప్పుడు వాడు ఒకేసారి నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ క్లయింట్స్ని హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తాడండి. అప్పుడు వాడికి బిగ్గర్ బ్యాండ్విడ్త్ అనేది కంపల్సరీగా కావాలి. అలాంటి టైంలో మనకి ఏంటంటే క్లౌడ్ ప్రొవైడర్ ఎవడైతే ఉంటాడో వాడు ఏంటంటే మల్టిపుల్ ఐఎస్పీస్ దగ్గర నుంచి కనెక్షన్స్ తీసుకున్నప్పుడు ఏంటంటే వాడు బెటర్ పెర్ఫార్మ్ చేయడానికి స్కోప్ అనేది ఉంటుందండి. Then we need to talk about the accelerated internet and the other two things, the optimized internet overlay and site to VPN. So these two things I will be covering in the next class, and also I will cover about the various services which are being offered by what type of services which are being offered under the hardware and infrastructure in the next class, in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so any doubts?
okay, sir. No, sir. Sir.
Okay. Okay, well then we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.